The wind whipped through the bustling streets of downtown Manhattan as Gregory Alden stepped out of his black luxury car, his designer shoes clicking against the pavement. The city buzzed around him, honking horns, hurried footsteps, flashing lights, but none of it reached him. He was a man encased in steel success, untouchable, unreadable, and unshakably alone. Gregory was a self-made millionaire, CEO of a leading tech firm, and a regular on the cover of Forbes. But money had built walls, not bridges. His heart had long been insulated by betrayal, broken friendships, and the cold truth of how easily people could be bought. That morning, he had come out of a meeting that had made him $10 million richer, and yet, he'd never felt more empty. He walked briskly toward his car, distracted by his thoughts and a flood of unread texts. In that moment, he saw a familiar silhouette from the corner of his eye, a petite figure with a beige coat, dark hair falling over her shoulder. His heart did something it hadn't done in years, it skipped. Without thinking, he reached out and hugged her tightly. But the body in his arms stiffened. He pulled back in shock, and she stared at him, confused and wide-eyed. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," he stammered, stepping back. "I thought you were someone else." She blinked, a touch of surprise and laughter in her soft brown eyes. "Well, you give very warm hugs for someone so obviously stressed." Gregory laughed, a short, involuntary chuckle escaping his lips. For a moment, he didn't see her ragged coat or scuffed boots, just a girl with a resilient smile. "I didn't mean to startle you," he said. "No harm done," she replied gently. "It's been a while since someone hugged me." "Thank you, actually." She turned to walk away, but something tugged at him, her tone, her eyes, her presence. "Wait," he called out. "I didn't catch your name." She hesitated, then turned and said, "Amira." "And you?" "Gregory." Amira offered a smile before vanishing into the crowd. He watched her go, puzzled at the way something about her had unlatched a door inside him he didn't even know was shut. Over the next few days, Gregory couldn't shake her from his mind. It wasn't just the awkward hug, it was the kindness in her voice, the honesty in her eyes. In a world where everyone wanted something from him, she expected nothing at all. Then, one evening, he saw her again. It was near the soup kitchen on 14th Street. He was on a late drive back from a meeting and stopped at a red light when he saw her standing in line. No makeup. Same worn coat. Laughing with a group of kids holding paper bowls. She was poor. But she didn't carry it like a burden. She carried it like a badge of survival. The light turned green. He didn't move. The honking behind him jolted him back, and he drove off. But something had changed. That night, he looked up the soup kitchen and sent a large anonymous donation. Still, he wanted to see her again, not as the millionaire, but as a man. So the next week, dressed in plain jeans and a sweater, Gregory returned and volunteered. And there she was, ladling soup, smiling, her sleeves rolled up. "Gregory," she said in surprise when she saw him. "You remember me?" "How could I forget the accidental hug," she teased. He laughed again, freer this time. "Thought I'd do something useful for a change." She smiled and handed him an apron. "Come on, then. You'll be on bread duty." Over the next several weeks, Gregory kept returning. Sometimes they worked side by side. Sometimes they sat on the curb with paper cups of soup, talking for hours. He learned that Amira had once been a literature student before her mother's illness drained their savings. She had dropped out to care for her younger siblings after her mother died. She worked odd jobs, helped feed the homeless, and wrote poetry on scraps of paper she carried in her coat pocket. She never complained. She never asked for help. She simply lived each day as a chance to bring kindness to someone else's. Gregory was mesmerized. He found himself waiting all week just to see her. The girl who wore no mask. Who found joy in giving. Who saw people, not status. One evening, as they walked under the orange haze of the city's dusk, he asked, "Why do you do it, Amira? You give so much and have so little." She looked at him with a soft, steady gaze. "Because I know what it's like to have nothing. And I know that the smallest kindness can feel like a miracle when you're lost." That night, he sat in his penthouse staring at the skyline, her words echoing in his heart. It wasn't long before he realized he was falling for her, not the way he used to fall, with calculation and caution, but with the awe of a man who has discovered something rare and irreplaceable. But he had a secret. She thought he was just another struggling soul trying to make a difference. And he was terrified that the truth would shatter everything. So he did something he had never done in his life. He invited her to dinner, not at a 5-star restaurant, but at a cozy corner diner, where she could be herself. That night, she arrived in her usual coat, hair tied back in a messy bun, and he thought she looked more beautiful than anyone he'd ever met in a gala gown. Over pie and laughter, he finally confessed. "I haven't been honest with you," he said, voice tight with nerves. "I'm not just Gregory. I'm Gregory Alden." She blinked. "The tech guy." He nodded. "I didn't want you to see me that way. I wanted you to see me, as a person." Amira looked at him, long and searching. Then, she smiled. "I did." And just like that, the fear in his chest dissolved. Their relationship grew. She never asked for gifts or status. She still worked at the soup kitchen, still wrote poems, still gave sandwiches to the homeless. But one day, as he watched her hand a granola bar to a shivering boy and wrap her scarf around an old woman's neck, he knew he wanted her in his life forever. He took her to the rooftop garden of his building, strings of fairy lights glowing around them, and said, "You taught me what it means to love selflessly. You reminded me how to be human. I don't need a perfect life, I just need one with you. Will you marry me?" Tears filled her eyes as she nodded. Yes. Years later, their wedding photo hung in the hallway of a shelter they built together, called Amira's Light. It housed struggling families, offered education, food, and hope. And every year, Gregory would tell the story to volunteers. It started with an accidental hug. "I thought I was giving something that day, but she was the one who gave me everything."